Hello and welcome to episode 11 of my podcast, Off the Rails. I'm here this morning with Judy. Welcome, Judy, to the podcast.
Thank you, Claire.
More than welcome. So we're both dialing in this morning from Porto, which is actually quite unusual for me. I usually have different timelines and things like this. So a pleasure to have somebody that's, let's say, local. So Judy, loads to unpack, loads to talk about. So
let's get into it.
Let's dive in. So yeah, tell me a little bit, and the listeners as well, about who you are, an intro about your background, how you got into fashion. Why is this your world? Tell me about that.
So Judy Sanderson. I'm South African, born and bred. I was not initially in fashion, so let me take you through it. So I actually studied accounting, so I went into the world of finance. Worked for Procter & Gamble. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's the company behind Pampers, behind Always Pads, Gillette.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, definitely.
It's an American company. It's a very big multinational. So I worked for them in the commercial department, so nothing to do with fashion still. But that was a great school for me. You know, I believe everything you do in life is never a waste. And
nice way to look at things, definitely.
Yeah, so my studies in finance, not a waste, because I'm using them right now. Procter & Gamble, such a great school because they teach you a lot on leadership. There's so much training in the company, so much coaching. So you come out there really equipped to be an entrepreneur. So I did that, and I was good at it. I worked in South Africa, Kenya, Mozambique, Zambia, Southern Africa. I was based in Cape Town at that time. Then I moved to Kenya. That was because I met my husband in Kenya. So I moved in Kenya, still with Procter & Gamble. And eventually we moved to China, still with Procter & Gamble. And we lived in Guangzhou, China. When I got there, I decided to take a sabbatical. I just needed a break because I've always been a creative. However, in the generation I was born in South Africa, which I was born in 85. Now, apartheid in South Africa ended in 94. I'm sure you know briefly about that. Nelson Mandela became president and apartheid ended. So we were like one of the first generation to really have access to good schools, because we didn't have access to all the schools. We had limitations, and so our parents didn't come from well-off backgrounds, as you can imagine. If you're Black in South Africa at that time, it was so common. So It was so important that we got we studied something where we'll get a job, because we'll be like the first financially independent generation, you know. So then our parents were really heavily involved in choosing the career that you're gonna, and arts was really it was not even an option. It was like anything in arts, design, it was really a hobby, because in South Africa, you would definitely not find a job in that, and you'll not make money, and that would, So hence I studied accounting. So they chose that, you know, be a chartered accountant, you know, you'll get a good job with one of the auditing firms, and, you know, so it was kind of their dream. However, they knew I was a creative. I've always been, you know, and you know how creatives are. It's like it's this ghost that haunts you. You cannot get away from it.
It doesn't go away, that's for sure. As much as you try a different path, it's like, I'm here. Yeah.
Claire, you can go wherever, you can try to run away from it, but it's always there. It's always there. So it was always there for me. And I was like, okay, let me climb the corporate ladder. I tried that because I actually enjoyed it. I did well, but at the same time, like, but I'm a creative. Like, what am I even doing in this environment? So when fast forward to China, I asked for a sabbatical from Procter & Gamble, you know, just to try a bit of the creatives and see, you know, and I actually enrolled in a fashion school when I was there in Guangzhou for those 3 months. And I've never been more alive than I was in those 3 months.
Wow.
Then I was like, I spoke to my husband. I'm like, you know, this is it. I really want to do this. So, and he's super, super supportive. So I quit my job and I went back to class. I was 27 years old at that time. My colleagues in class were like 18. And I was kind of like the oldest student. But so that's how that happened. I moved to Hong Kong, eventually finished my fashion degree. And after that, I moved to Portugal. My husband is Portuguese, hence I'm based in Porto, in Portugal. So we moved back here. And we moved back here. I had many kids. In the meantime, I have 4 kids in total.
Oh wow, so you were busy.
Yeah,
I love that.
busy. Yeah, I was like busy. I was a full-time mom, like literally I was breastfeeding while pregnant and pregnant while breastfeeding, and so they like.
I get the feeling you're really good at multitasking the whole way through.
There's
Career, mom, whatever it is,
way.
you're good at this.
There's literally no other way. Like my calendar is full of things for the kids to do, and then there's work. My calendar is so like it's like literally I'm juggling, but it's the only way to get a life like mine in order and organized. You need to do things like that. But eventually, I opened my company, launched the first collection in 2020 during the pandemic. It was meant to launch like in March, but okay, pandemic hit, and then let's wait. We thought another 2 months, but okay, as you know what happened. So we like, anyway, let's launch anyway. So in August, I launched the first collection and website, everything. So it's online company, and we sell B2C consumers online. And we also sell B2B to wholesalers, to retailers. We go to trade shows in Milan, and we go to Paris during Paris Fashion Week. This time around, we're also going to go to Tokyo. So that's all to sell to retailers, and just to scale up. But yeah, that's just that's the bit of background, a lot of background.
Wow, like a whistle stop tour of all of that, like in what, 5 minutes? That was amazing. You've had a really colorful life so far, like really, you followed something that was kind of given or chosen for you, let's say, because of circumstances. However, you had this burning desire of always being creative, and to go to China and start up. And like you say, sometimes these things can be intimidating because you're at a different point in your life. Like you said, you were 27, the average age was 18. Sometimes somebody walking into that would be like, oh, I've missed my calling, I've missed my time. Yeah. I'm going to step away. But the fact that you keep going and kind of going against the grain, it shows that entrepreneurial style that you have. And I think it's something that's ingrained in you. I think you have that, and I think that's brilliant. It's so inspirational to hear that.
Thank you, Claire. But I believe, there's a lot of things in life has been, society set a lot of standards. Timing is one of them. Like, why is there a certain age to study? Why is there a certain age to get married? Why is there a certain age to have kids? Like, who made those rules? So I don't follow those rules.
Yeah, do you know what? I had the same conversation with a friend yesterday about society, and you have to question yourself and kind of sit up to it. It's like, what makes you successful and what makes you a failure is because somebody else set these rules. Yeah, and I think breaking the mold as such is so important. We need to get rid of that old status of this is right, tick the box, keep doing this.
I think that's right for you, Claire. It's not right for me. We cannot. China taught me a lot about that, because when I moved there, China is so different. It's like nowhere else in the world. Everything is different. Even their body language is different. That's how different it is. That it really, really questions everything you've believed in. Your moral compass and your values, it really challenges it, because you grow up believing this is right and this is wrong. And when you get there, a lot of things are the opposite. Something that you always thought is right is wrong for them. And, in China, for example, it's harmony. To keep harmony is the most important. It's so important to keep harmony, peace, and to save face as well. So face meaning that Chinese people do not like a confrontation in front of other people, and to be embarrassed in front of people. So it's something that you need to do privately, so you can save their face, and all those things that if you're coming from the West and you go there and you're like confronting people, but it's not confronting. It's like you're stating things, but in the public eye, it's very wrong. It's like culturally very wrong. And there's certain things that, a lot of people like, when you ask, like, what's the time? You'll be like, I can't speak Mandarin. I'm like, what's the time? That's not how you do what's the time in China. I'm like, wow, I'm mind blown. And values, like certain things, like a white lie, for example. In general, lying for many people is like, no, that's in the wrong book. It's a no-no. But there, it's acceptable. there's certain cases where it's acceptable because you need to keep harmony, you need to keep peace. So it's like you keep battling with that in your mind, like, how is it okay? Like, but it challenges you so much that you realize something that is right for you is not necessarily the blueprint,
Exactly. And I'm a huge believer. I was lucky enough to travel with my job as well. I was in fashion for over 20 years and traveled to China a lot, was in Guangzhou a lot for development and stuff like that. So I know more or less, I know what you're speaking about with cultural preferences and differences. And I think if you're open-minded and you remain agile, I think if you take on and appreciate other people's differences through culture, you will win at life, because you have to appreciate everybody is different. And that's the beauty. Like, screw this, like everybody must form conform to normality, whatever normal is. I love that. I am a big believer in travel. Keep your mind open and accept and talk to people and learn. Continually learn in life. That is the beauty of it. You're never done learning. And if you think you are, you're not for me.
No, you should go out there, you should travel, because the world needs more tolerance. And if we were more tolerant, a lot of things that are happening currently in the world would be avoided, right? If we're tolerant to different cultures, to different religions, to different sexuality, to all these things that creates a lot of conflict.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I am a big advocate for that. Keeping your eyes open and being able to adjust and adapt and appreciate. You might not always agree, but at least appreciate and hear somebody else out. That's for me who I am at the core. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So kind of shifting the direction a little bit, one thing I've seen on your socials, and one thing I'd love to know a little bit more about, is you won the Global Brand Prize a little while ago. Tell me about that. What made you go for it, and what was the journey and everything that encompassed that particular, part of what you did? Tell me about that.
So that was something very interesting that happened in the beginning of this year. Now, what made me go for it? It was like a Mediterranean prize, and so they opened it up for Africans. This was the first time, so I had one of my mentors said, "Hey, there's this thing. It's opened up to African designers. Hey, how about you apply? You fit so well," because they really focus on preserving traditional crafts, which is like a core of my company, because I believe the heroes in fashion are the people who actually make the garment. They are the tailors, they are the craftsmen, and it's not the designer. It's not, yes, fashion has become a superficial industry, and it was not like that. It never used to be like that. It was about this perfect tailoring, and it is about, the craftsmanship. So my company is all about that. I am full on preserving traditional, preserving cultures and traditional techniques, and like what I do is I build communities. It's a big thing about me and about my company, because I was raised like that. In South Africa, many African countries, we live with a philosophy called Ubuntu. It means in Zulu you'd say umuntu ngimuntu ngabantu. It means I am because we are a community. So that means that if anyone, or even anything, meaning animals, nature around us, because we believe we live in the perfect equilibrium. It's and if anyone is down, whether it's a human, animal, it's nature, it's our responsibility to feel it, and it's our responsibility to help that person, and whatever it may be, to get back into balance with us, because when they're out of balance, we are out of balance. So it's looking out for one another. That's what it is. It's, you are not an island. I am because we are. I am because they are. So
it's a very beautiful way to look at things, and makes you, I think it kind of resonates with me, because we can be on our own journey sometimes, and we can be blinkered to other people, other things, and it's me, I need to get to this, I need to get to that. And I think it's so important to realize who and what is around you and how important, because you'll always need, I think if you understand what you need through life, you'll always go back to relying on other people, needing other people. So if you keep that in mind, what you just said is, yeah, it's beautiful. It's really
we
nice.
need each other. We need community, and I'm very big on building community, building support systems. So in my company, I build communities. For example, my crochets in my company, I built a community in Aveiro of women who just sit and crochet, and they do it in their houses, and then they come together to teach each other. And they didn't know that, oh, the woman in the other street also crochets. Great, now let's crochet together. Teach me new techniques. You know, it's building community. That's what it's about. My tailoring, like I actually, in Portugal, I don't know if you should know since you're in fashion, it's huge on tailoring historically. I mean, manually, even before all the factories, everything was done manually, the patterns, 100% everything. So I actually, in my company, I work with, my tailors are all retired tailors. Like my oldest tailor is 83 years old.
Oh, no way, that's amazing.
Yeah, an 83-year-old man who's been tailoring all his life. He's so good. That's his passion, and that's, you know, he lives, breathes that. So, and they do everything manually, you know, they do the patterns manually, everything manually. So I am very big on preserving traditional crafts and for them not to die out. And also not just, we need to pass it down, you know, they're gonna disappear.
Yeah, and like you say, I think one thing you touched on was like how fashion, you know, can be seen as superficial. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this podcast is I speak to founders, I speak to small businesses. I've always worked in corporations, big corporations. However, it's always been something for me that I wanted to go out and do something by myself, but never just quite had enough maybe confidence to do it until now. Yeah. I turned 41 and I was like, no, I want to do something for me. I have to do this. It's now or never. And I just did it. And going back a little bit to how you said about, you know, tailoring and the craftsmanship in fashion, because everything's so fast nowadays, or certain elements of fashion are. We still have the beauty of it. And for example, for what you're doing, and a lot of people that I speak to are trying to preserve and kind of reignite this true meaning of what fashion is. And it kind of just reminded me when I first came into fashion, one thing that I've always loved it. Like you say, if you're a creative, it's always there in some level. And I've always just had this passion for putting colors and clothes and putting things together. It's always just been something that I've been able to visualize. And when I was, I think, 15 or 16, about to leave school, my mum said, oh, it's a really big time for you. We need to get your outfit made. And I wanted a corset. That was a corset and a long skirt.
Yeah.
And I found this lady who lived very close to where I was brought up. She was Hungarian and she was a tailor. And I met her. She just was the most vibrant person ever. Like, she was like, she bounced off every wall. She was amazing.
That's so nice.
And I fell in love with her and the craft. And I was like, there's so much more to fashion. Like when you talk about pattern cutting, it's maths. Yeah. It's so, you know, there's so much to it. The detail is amazing. The fabrication you have to learn about, the weave and the weft and all these things. It's amazing. It's such an intelligent business and industry that I think people tend to kind of, oh, it's fashion. You know,
it's really unfortunate, very sad, and hopefully it will change. That fashion is not the editorial. It's not what you see on the big fashion magazines. You know, that's the final product. You know, the fashion happened before then.
Exactly.
Like, the whole thing from making that textile, that was the fashion. You know, that's what people should be seeing. That's what people should be appreciating, not the final product on the model shot by a super photographer. That's the final product. We're just presenting the final product, but fashion already happened, you know. It's so I'm hoping fashion will now, the industry itself will now go towards that direction where we start appreciating craftsmanship, you know.
Exactly. And I think there's so much to be told about it. That's what I'm kind of wanting to unpack as I do these. And you've just mentioned it. And like I was just saying about this lady that I met, that's who got me into it. I was blown away by the intricacy and how much there was to learn. And I'm somebody that loves learning. Because like we mentioned before, I think if you think you're done learning, you're very fooled. Like life, you learn every day, and that's the beauty of it. Like it keeps you fresh.
Yeah, you
So
have
that's
to.
how I got into it. It was like,
That's how
I
we
need
evolve. We have to learn. If you feel like you're not learning, then change something. You need change in your life.
this.
Change
Exactly.
is, people are scared of change. I'm a big believer of change. It's so important. And that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. You know, that's how you grow in tolerance as well. Because of change, you need to be put outside your comfort zone for you to change, or else you will stay in your comfort zone and not change and not learn anything new. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Life is so short anyway, and when you stay in the same lane, it just, yeah, I get out and try things, build up your tolerance, like you say, try new things. If it doesn't work, fine, you've tried it. You
Yeah.
know, there's no harm in that. So I
Nothing's
love that. I
lost,
think it's
Claire.
a really
Nothing's
nice,
lost. Nothing is
yeah, it's a
lost.
really nice sentiment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've kind of told where you started, how you switched things up. You came to Portugal. You won this amazing global prize. So something else that I learned about you through your platforms and everything, you also have your Judy Sanderson club.
Yeah.
So can we talk on that a little bit? Why, first of all, why did you come up with it?
Yeah.
And what is it exactly? What does it encompass? What is it all about?
So actually, this all started last year, and it was not. Didn't start by, oh, I'm going to start a club. No, I started with, you know what? There's so many fashion brands around Porto, just Porto alone. In Portugal, there's so many, but I'm all about, you need to start with the circle around you. So I'm based in Porto, so I'm like, there's so many fashion brands, all struggling, and they don't have access, and people don't know about them, and this industry is so cluttered, as you know, extremely cluttered. And so I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me start something where we can get this little meaning that they're startups, to get a platform where they can, where the target audience can come to them and get to buy, because they're all online, most of them, as you know. So then I did like a pop-up. So I started with the first pop-up, and I invited like a brand. I'm like, hey, let's do a pop-up together with my brand. And and then we did it together, and then I invite my surrounding. I know a lot of people, so I invite them, and they come, and it was usually like, I'm all about like people coming together, not just to shop, but to connect and to learn from each other and to make new friendships, you know, networking, whatever it may be, personally, professionally. So I always combine it with a lunch, for example, where it's like you shop, but then we have a lunch, and then you can shop again, you know, just but you need to have some social element about it. There's music, you can dance. So I did that. So we rented a place out, restaurant, very nice French restaurant. We did that, and people loved it. They're like, wow, even if they didn't shop anything, they were like, that was great, we love that, you know, we should do it again. So there was just so much demand around that. So then we did another one on Women's Day. And that's when we decided, hey, you know what? There's so much demand. Maybe we should start a club. So on Women's Day, we did it with, I think it was about 7 brands, also Portuguese. The whole point is women, and it's Portuguese. So because I'm all about women empowerment, you know, I'm very big on that one. I'm sure you've seen in my brand as well, because I believe, you know, women, where I'm from, women actually run the community. You know, they make things happen. They are the leaders. In fact, the queen of where I'm from, it's not a king. We have a queen. She's the rain queen. So women are so hailed, and you know, I believe that our you know, we possess something that is so special that we need to bring to the world, to the business world everywhere. And we do not need to adopt the masculine side to be in business, and to, you know, our femininity is what makes us special, you know, our sensitivity, everything else that a woman encompasses, that's what we are bringing to the table. You know, that's the diversity that's needed, that is missing, you know.
I've never heard anybody put it like that before, that we don't need to adopt the masculinity. I think that's absolutely, you've like perfect, because there is so many times that people are like, oh, I need to, how did that guy say that? How did he put it that way? I need to dress slightly different because I'm not going to be taken as serious. And you're so right. We don't need to change. We are enough. We are enough.
It's not a competition between men and women. It's like we're literally parallel. We are not, they are here, and we are parallel, you know. So you don't need to adopt that masculinity, you know, what you bring to the table. That's actually what's needed, you know. by removing that, you are trying to compete against a man, which you'll never be a man. I mean, but you're gonna keep trying, and it will not be natural. Being us the way we are is natural, you know, being feminine, being bubbly, but still getting things done, you know, and you know, just our sensitivity, you know, how we are so, you know, we are very in touch with our feelings. That's important. That's needed in business.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I lost my train of thought. I don't even know.
Sorry, it was me. I had to highlight that because I loved it. We were talking about the club, but I love the fact that, yeah, I just had to kind of stop and be like, I love that. I've never heard anybody, you know, we are parallel. We should stand shoulder to shoulder. I think sometimes there is this thing, women empowerment, we're better. We need to get up there.
No,
it's not. It is. We're equal. We're just as good as one another. Yeah. And I like that. I like the way you've put that.
Yeah, so it's not a competition. So and of course in the world in general, we see that a lot, in fact, the most businesses in the world that do not succeed are women's businesses, as you know. So I want to do my part in helping that. So then I decided to start a club. I'm like, hey, you know what, there's so much need for a community. People come to these events because they feel a part of something. You know, they don't know what it is, but it feels good. Whatever it is, they're with other women, they're dancing, they're laughing, they're drinking, and we are just like so relaxed, and we're forgetting about everything else that, you know, about our responsibilities, and we are just so relaxed. And people love that, and they're meeting new people. I'm like, let me create an official club where you know, women can join, and we can cater for them professionally as well as personally, because both are super, super important. Professionally, because most of these women actually have businesses. So businesses that struggle to thrive. Also because there's people don't have access to information, don't have access to their target market. So, and as you know, together we are stronger, you know. So I decided, okay, so professionally, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna first get all information of all these women-owned businesses that are part of the club, because the whole point is to have services within that we recommend for outside, recommend for people within, because not everybody has business. Some of them stay-at-home moms, which is also a full-time job. Some of them are corporate women, you know, in law, some are in medicine. So we have all these services within. So we collect all that information, and the idea is to have women-owned businesses recommended, women-owned, and to take this and to go to corporates. And we're starting a fund as well, where women empowerment kind of fund, where we're going to apply for funds in order for us to start an incubation program for these businesses, you know, the acceleration program. And the whole point is internationalization, you know, because as you know, Portugal is small, which means the pie is small, but these businesses, if they could scale up and, you know, break through the borders, and they can grow. So, but it's tough, you know, you need finances to do those kind of things. You need finances to go to trade shows, and everything is expensive. So we want to develop a fund where we can have acceleration program with coaching, with all these, we get mentors, and just we identify certain businesses that we believe in. So professionally, we want to do that. Also, we want to have like talks, and we want to bring experts in certain fields to come and help and guide in the strategies of different businesses. And personally, of course, we want to work on women's mental health. So important, you know, many people are going through many things, you know, very difficult situations. So we want to touch a lot on that subject of mental health, with all the responsibilities that the women have. You know, they need support. So we want to make that topic so open, not taboo. It's not a taboo. Like, I don't even understand why society makes mental health such a taboo topic. It's like, no, it's. So we and also physically, we want to also help women to get in, you know, physically feeling good. It's not even about being in shape. It's about feeling good. And
and those are two very different things. You know, people often put you into, oh, I want to okay, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to shed loads of weight. No, it's not about that. It's about maybe just getting outside, breathing in some fresh air, looking at a sky, hopefully when it's blue, and it makes you feel good. It changes your whole. Sometimes I work from home, and I've like I was saying to you, I was in the fashion buying field for 20 years, and I've set up my own business in coaching and mentoring. I'm doing consulting, especially for the creative realm. And I sit here at home on my own most of the time. My husband and I both work from home. He's in one room, I'm in the other. And I just sometimes, all those things, I go through self-doubt. Am I doing the right thing? Is this a financial, could this be a financial burden if I keep going down this route? What am I thinking? And then I go outside and I'm like, feel better. I come in and I'm like, right, I'm gonna do this today.
Yeah, you're ready to conquer again.
Yeah, so
it's so important, right? And you didn't really lose weight and you're going outside, so it's not about
exactly. But I felt better, and I'm like, okay, this is what it's about. And you know, from one minute to the other, but you know, and then I come back and I've got the willpower to come in, and then I'll say, okay, I need to meet some people like yourself. And I get energy from people like you because I think, oh, there's somebody that's like-minded. You can, you know, bit by bit, you know, we're not all here to say, oh, I'm going to change the world. No, but you can change a few opinions, and that's enough. You know, sometimes that's completely enough. So
if everybody does that, then we change the world.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting there bit by bit. So I love that. And I think all them things, empowerment. And I think when you break it down in the way you have, because again, there's a lot of these buzzwords that go around, you know, female empowerment, doing this, doing that. And it's like, oh, people get kind of intimidated by it, or we're trying to be something that is
like, it's a movement. It's a movement against men. It's
exactly
it's not.
So it's those things, the perception of what these words are, which I think is quite sometimes it lands a little bit abruptly, but however, if you listen and understand exactly why and how certain women are doing these things, I think it's only to benefit both men and women, because we're here to support each other. You know, we're not here to kind of fight through and I'm better than you, I'm better than
one
that.
big community, and everything edifies the community. And if we are not bringing ourselves, our full selves to the table, then, you know, we're depriving the community. So, but we need to get ourselves in the right place, right? Like you said, you stepping outside gets you in the right place. So we need to get ourselves in the right place, physically, mentally, in order to bring to the table. Because if you have nothing, if you are so empty, you have nothing to give. Like you would love to, but you are actually so empty. That's why community is so important, to go and meet other women and just have a chat, like we're having a chat. You know, after this conversation, you and I are like, yeah, you know what, Claire, we can do it. Let's go for it. You know, whatever it is that we had in mind, whatever project we had planned, yes, it's possible. Yes, we can do it. And that comes with us having just a conversation, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's that goes back to what you said, the community. It really does give you that energy that you need to move forward. And there's things that, no matter, we may look at each other, you and I, or somebody we meet on the street, you're like, I haven't got much in common with them. But I think there's always something that you can speak to somebody and you're like, I can relate. That may have happened to me, or I've had a similar experience, or I want or wish I could have that. So I think we've kind of said it throughout this conversation, is keep open-minded. There's always something and somebody that you will connect with that
always,
you know, benefit you, and
you can learn from.
Exactly that. So I think keeping that
conversation with something new, like a better person in you know, in a certain way. So, and that's super, super important. And, you know, I always believe that, you know, you need to surround yourself with people who are better than you. And better doesn't mean that they are more successful. They are better at something, whatever it may be. You know, it's people that when you're with, you walk out, they're like, that was a good one. You know, I never thought of that. In fact, I'm a better person after talking to this person, you know, because it's when you're in an environment where you feel like the superstar, the role model that everybody looks up to, then you know that, okay, no, it's time now to go and find other people.
Yeah, you need to step into another room. Exactly.
Into another room where you are not the superstar, where you're not the role model, but you're looking at these people like, wow, how did they do that? You know? So because you won't grow if you are the role model, the superstar, and everybody's looking up to you. You won't grow, firstly because everybody else is taking from you. You know, they are taking.
Exactly, which is draining, and it's a bit like what you said before, which was, you know, you need to continue to learn, and also this being in your comfort zone. If you want to be the superstar and stay in that same room, but you're not learning, you're just giving, it becomes draining. So yeah, to move to another room, in the analogy, helps.
Yeah. And in fact, you can offer more to the people who see you as a role model if you step to the next room, because you come back full of energy, and then they can get whatever they want to get, and you step again to the next room and get more energy. You know, it's important to refill, or else you will run on low, that it will start working on your mental health, you know, because you gave too much and you didn't receive enough.
Yeah. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I've more than enjoyed it. Your journey is amazing, and I love the fact that you're keeping moving forward, and that is just inspirational to me. You know, you kind of always, like I said before, sometimes I get frustrated. I'm here at home. I'm like, I need to get out. I need to, you know, what is it I'm doing? What is it I need to do next? And you speak to people like yourself, and you're like, wow, you keep it moving forward. You know, you're breaking the mold all the time. It's like you're running to the next place. So I think that's, to me, something that I'll take away from today, and it's like, okay, what else can I do? You know, what other avenue is there to take? So yeah, thank you for today. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome, Claire, and you know, I love what you do, and you continue doing what you do. You're absolutely on the right path, and your passion is just so tangible, you know.
Thank you so much. No, we'll definitely cross paths. We're in the same city, so it has to happen. So I will definitely see you very soon. I love what you're doing. And as mentioned, for anybody listening, I will link all of your socials, link your website, so we can direct people to your way, see what you're about, give that visual side, which is very colorful, very bold in your designs, and also what you're doing with the club as well. Bringing community together is everything. So love that. But thank you, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks, Judy.
Bye-bye.